embark on an incredible journey to the celestial kingdom, where young Max discovers the power of hope, imagination, and the courage to make a difference. This magical bedtime story will transport children and families to an enchanting world of floating islands, stardust bridges, and wise celestial creatures, offering lessons about unity, resilience, and following one's dreams. Max was an adventurous 8-year-old with a love for space and stars. Every night he would gaze up at the twinkling sky, wondering what kind of magic might exist beyond the shimmering lights. One summer evening, as Max lay in his backyard, he saw something strange, a golden feather fluttering down from the sky, glowing as it descended. It landed right in front of him, soft and warm to the touch. Curious, Max picked up the feather, and suddenly he felt the ground beneath him disappear. He found himself soaring into the sky, carried by a swirl of golden light and stardust. Before he knew it, Max was standing on a floating island in the sky, surrounded by twinkling stars and fluffy clouds. "Welcome, young dreamer," said a deep, kind voice. Max turned and saw a magnificent creature, a giant eagle with feathers made of golden light. "I am Solara, guardian of the celestial kingdom. You have been chosen to help us." Max's eyes widened in amazement as he looked around. The celestial kingdom was breathtaking. Floating islands, lush with sparkling trees, drifted gently in the sky, connected by shimmering bridges made of stardust. Max could see other creatures too, celestial foxes with twinkling fur, wise old owls perched on starlit branches, and even tiny glowing rabbits hopping along the floating paths. "Help you?" Max asked, feeling both excited and nervous. "But I'm just a kid. What can I do?" Solara lowered her head, her golden eyes meeting his. "The celestial kingdom is losing its light. The beacon of hope has been taken by the shadow of doubt, and without it, the islands will begin to fall. Only someone with a brave heart and a pure dream can retrieve it." Max swallowed hard. He had never thought of himself as especially brave, but something about Solara's words filled him with determination. He nodded. "I'll help you, Solara. Tell me what I need to do." Solara spread her wings, and a pathway of glowing stardust appeared, leading from the floating island across a vast expanse of stars. "Follow the stardust bridge to the dark island," she said. "The beacon of hope is hidden there, guarded by the shadow of doubt. Remember, Max, the shadow feeds on fear and hopelessness. You must hold on to your dreams and hope to overcome it." Max took a deep breath, clutched the glowing feather, and stepped onto the stardust bridge. The path shimmered beneath his feet, and as he walked, he felt a mix of excitement and fear. Below him, he could see the vastness of the night sky, stars twinkling like diamonds. He passed celestial creatures who cheered him on, foxes that danced along the bridge, and owls that called out words of encouragement. As Max walked, he encountered a group of celestial foxes that were trying to repair a broken section of the stardust bridge. The foxes looked worried, their twinkling fur dimming slightly. "We need help fixing the bridge," one of the foxes said, looking up at Max with hopeful eyes. Max knelt down and examined the broken section. He could see that the stardust had scattered and the bridge was unstable. Max remembered the feather in his hand and held it over the broken part. The feather began to glow, and the scattered stardust slowly came together, reforming the bridge. The foxes cheered, their fur glowing brightly once more. "Thank you, brave dreamer," the fox said. "Your hope and determination have restored the bridge. Remember, the path ahead may be challenging, But you are not alone. Max smiled and continued on his way, feeling a sense of pride. He realized that even small acts of courage could make a big difference. The bridge was now whole, and Max felt stronger with each step he took. Finally, Max reached the dark island. The once lush trees were now dark and twisted, and the air was cold. At the center of the island stood a tall pedestal where the beacon of hope, a brilliant orb of golden light, was trapped inside a cage of shadows. Nearby, a swirling figure, the shadow of doubt, loomed, its dark presence casting a chilling gloom over the island. Max's hands trembled as he stepped forward. The shadow of doubt turned towards him, its voice echoing like a cold wind. You think you can take the beacon? You are just a child. You're too small, too weak, and too afraid. Doubt began to creep into Max's heart. What if the shadow was right? What if he really wasn't brave enough? But then Max thought of Solara, the celestial creatures, and the beautiful celestial kingdom. He thought of the stars and how he had always dreamed of exploring them. He couldn't let his fear stop him now. Max closed his eyes, holding the golden feather tightly. I am brave, he whispered to himself. I have hope, and I believe in my dreams. The feather began to glow brighter, filling Max with warmth. The shadows around the beacon started to waver, and the shadow of doubt hissed, recoiling as the light grew stronger. Max stepped forward, his voice steady now. I will not let doubt stop me. I believe in myself. With those words, the golden feather blazed with light, and the shadows around the beacon shattered. The beacon of hope floated free, its golden light spreading across the dark island, turning the twisted trees back into their lush, sparkling selves. The shadow of doubt let out a final, echoing hiss before dissolving into nothingness. Max reached out and gently took the beacon of hope in his hands. It was warm, and as he held it, he felt a sense of peace and strength wash over him. The island was now filled with light, and the celestial creatures appeared, cheering and celebrating. Solara flew down from the sky, her wings shimmering with pride. You did it, young dreamer! The celestial kingdom is saved, thanks to your courage. Max smiled as he looked around at the glowing islands and the joyful creatures. He had never felt so proud. Solara spread her wings once more, and with a swirl of golden light, Max found himself back in his backyard, the golden feather still in his hand, glowing softly. As Max looked around, he noticed something different. The golden feather began to glow again, and a small portal opened in front of him. Max felt a sense of excitement and curiosity. He stepped through the portal and found himself back in the celestial kingdom. But this time, he was in a different part of it. An island filled with celestial gardens, sparkling waterfalls, and bridges that connected to even more floating islands. Max looked around in awe. The gardens were filled with flowers that glowed in all colors of the rainbow, and celestial butterflies fluttered around, leaving trails of shimmering light. Solara appeared beside him, her wings spread wide. Max, the celestial kingdom is vast, and there are many who need your help. This journey is only the beginning. Max felt a surge of excitement. He knew there were more adventures waiting for him, more challenges to face, and more friends to make. He walked along the path, Solara by his side, as they ventured deeper into the celestial kingdom. They soon reached a grove where a group of celestial deer were gathered. The deer looked worried, their antlers dimmed. The fountain of dreams is losing its light, one of the deer said. Without it, the dreams of the celestial kingdom will fade. Max knew he had to help. He approached the fountain, which was surrounded by stones inscribed with ancient symbols. The water in the fountain was barely glowing, and Max could feel the sadness in the air. He took out the golden feather and held it over the fountain, focusing on his hope and dreams. Slowly, the feather's glow spread to the fountain, and the water began to shimmer. The light grew stronger, and soon the entire grove was filled with a brilliant glow. The celestial deer lifted their heads, their antlers glowing brightly once more. They bowed to Max in gratitude. "Thank you, brave dreamer. You have restored the light of our dreams." Max felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He realized that the celestial kingdom was not just a place of magic, but also a place where hope and dreams had real power. He knew that as long as he believed in himself, he could make a difference. As the day in the celestial kingdom drew to a close, Solara led Max to a high cliff overlooking the floating islands. The sky was filled with stars, and the view was breathtaking. "Max," Solara said, "you are a true guardian of the celestial kingdom. Never forget the power of your dreams." Max nodded, his heart full. He knew he would return to the celestial kingdom again and again, whenever he was needed. With a final swirl of golden light, Max found himself back in his backyard, the feather still glowing softly in his hand. He looked up at the sky, the stars twinkling above, and smiled. He knew that the celestial kingdom was real, and that as long as he held on to hope and believed in himself, he could face any challenge that came his way. If you enjoyed Max's incredible adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another magical bedtime story. Let us know in the comments. What would you do if you found a golden feather? We'd love to hear your thoughts.